Okay, this is the game that I'm working on. It's a personal project. It's gonna be an action adventure game where you can swap characters, change characters, and each character has its own inventory. So let's pick him. His inventory, he can attack. That's how he attacks. Um, this is how she attacks. There. And this one's an archer. Boom. Can hit anyone. And this one uses a mace, a hammer. Boom. This one uses a laser. And this uses electricity. Okay, so let's pick her. One of the features is the inventory system. So here I used Unity's input system to navigate on the UI. So we press E to use. You can choose some options here. So say let's use it. There, it added 2 health. You can also drop it. There, dropped it. And you can pick it up again. There, it's back there. So that's one feature. It's an inventory system. I also have a puzzle feature. So I have here worker 1, worker 2, worker 3, worker 4. So how this works is a code that I will show. Okay, so this is the class for the puzzle script. Okay, so I have an array of goal, target, and the work. There's the code. So initialize the work first, depending on how many workers you have, how many goals you have. Okay, now this is how I check if the puzzle is complete. Okay. Okay, so back here in Unity, I'm not sure if you can see right here on this side. This is how I set up the puzzle. So I put it in a game object, and this is the puzzle script. So here I set the target goal array for this specific puzzle. So what will happen is every time, let's say for this worker, so this is a puzzle worker, it has this puzzle worker script. So if the player interacts with this, it sends a message to this puzzle that the int for that array is changing. So here's an example. Okay, so as you can see, the goal is this. So the element 0 should be 3, element 1 is 1, 2 is 1, 3 is 1, and the work is this one. So the values that will be coming to this, I mean the values that will be assigned to this is coming from the workers here, this child workers here. Okay, so let's say worker 1 there, 2, 3 for the worker 2. Let's do 1 for the worker 3, 1, and for the worker 4 is 1. And there you will see the debug, it says puzzle complete. So how can we use it in game, and how can we expand it? So this is a very flexible system, that what you can do is every time you interact on a worker, something here will happen. Let's say an item will rotate, or an item will change color, or an animation will happen, or something will move, or a UI will appear. So yeah, it depends on the designer on what kind of puzzle she or he wants to make. Okay, that's one. So for the inventory system, each of the characters has its own inventory. So as you can see here, this is for this character's inventory. It's for Callie. This one is for Haley, and this one is for Marley. Okay, so you can also use a storage. Sorry, wrong button. Okay, so there's the vault. It's empty. So let's say you wanna transfer items from Haley to the storage. What you do is press I, click here, and you store. Store. So there. She doesn't have any items anymore. Let's say you want to move it to Marley. You go to the storage, open the storage, and you get the item. There, and it's there. You can also drop it there and let Haley pick it up. There's the item. How that works is I'll show you in a second. Okay, so let's see how the inventory system works. So when you load the game, it spawns a player, this player, and this player has an inventory object. It's Callie's inventory. This has the database. It saves the database, and this is the container. So that's what's in her inventory there. So item object ID 8, it's water. So here, there, it's a water. Close. and this one is a scrap metal sheet there. So there, that's the um, item database. So I have a different container for each characters, and it saves using a save system that I also made. It's a local save system. Okay, so in picking up, let's see the code. Okay, so here's the code for picking up the items. This is basically called ground item. So you attach this to items you see on the ground that you can loot. So it has an interactable base and iLootable interface. Okay, so first is the item object. This is where you assign what kind of item this ground item is, the amount, the mesh filter in the material will be set on awake, and this is how the item will look like on the ground. So on enable, I just set the game object's name using the name passed through here. The mesh renderer also coming from this scriptable object. The material and the amount is coming from here. Okay, so if it's not lootable, I just set it to false. That means it's already looted. Okay, here set the item details. This happens when you drop the item. Okay, so let's say the player drops the item. This method is called, and this will set that new item on the ground with this data. Okay, see, it's in display inventory, remove buttons, drop item. So when you drop the item, it does a raycast where you can drop the item. So it basically checks if you can drop it. Remove the buttons, it's here. This is for the UI. So just check. So you instantiate a ground object. You set that ground object's ground item script using this ground item, and then you set its value. Okay, this is where you set the position of the item on the ground, and then you close the UI, and you close characters inventory UI. Okay, that's it. Here you set the item details. Okay, so here's how you loot the item. So on loot, so it creates a new item, and then on the back it adds the item. Okay, so let's go to the add item. Okay, here. So this basically checks for what kind of item you're looting. So depending on the item type, so if it's a food, a battery, oxygen, quest, so basically if it's a stackable, so it checks for stack amount. So if it's a tool, a building, or an upgrade, okay, it checks if the inventory is full. There, add item. And this is the subtract item. This basically checks if the item is already on the inventory, so it can stack it or add a new item. Okay, set empty slot is to empty the UI for the inventory. Check for stack, just checks how many items you have and if it's stackable. Okay, so here's a check. If the inventory is full, we can upload it. Move item is when you're transferring it to a different slot, but I think I did not use that one. I used delete item if you're gonna throw it there. These are just tools for the designer if you want to reset, save, or clear the inventory slot database. Okay, that's for the inventory system. Okay, here I'll show you the level design. Okay, the setting is like a post-apocalyptic world. There. Okay, cyberpunk style. These buildings are modular, so the level designer can fully customize building that he or she wants to make. This is like a hotel. Yeah, that's the hotel. This is the O2 building. The O2 is the corporation villain. They're the villain corporation who started this post-apocalyptic world. This is the hospital. Yeah, those are canisters. What else? Also the street, they're modular, so you can add street if you want to. So yeah, it's still just in level design. There's no interaction yet, but with the puzzle system, we can put different puzzles, and it doesn't have enemies yet, so you can put enemies, quests there. No, that part's not done, so let's go up. Okay, I'll just show it on scene view here. So this map is basically from, the reference that I use is from a real map. It's from, let me just close that guy, and the fog. There you go. This is the map. That's the whole map. It's the reference for this map is the real place here in the Philippines. It's Intramuros. Yeah, just the shape, at least the shape, not the scale. This one's a lot smaller. The scale's not the same. Okay, so one example of a building is this. See, it's a commercial building for let's open the prefab. As you can see, it's made up of more prefabs. So for the floor, for the walls, for the division, the second floor, the accents, and the vandal should be part of the accent. The tank should be in there. Okay, so that's building. It's made up of prefabs, so that the designer can fully customize it. So that's one sample. So this one, let's check apartment 2. See, there, walls, doors, floors, windows, wall, roof, and yeah, the sign. That's it. And this, the street. The roads, there you go. Roads, road 1 is that, this one. Okay, road 4 is this one. What else? Building NPCs, street lot. Okay, that's basically it. I have more systems in place like a tick system. These are basic systems. So let's see, what else do I have? Oh, okay, maybe I want to share the how I made the player movement, the animation. It's all done inside the Unity's animator. So if you open up the animator window here, and let's make the player 1 prefab here. Sit on the player 1 animator. Oh, it's assigned dynamically. It's all done. Okay, so the animator controller is here. It's set during runtime. Animator controller and the avatar as animator controller here. So there. Now the movement is coming from these states. I used Unity's own built-in state machine, so I did not create my own state machine. So let's say I want to add a new attack animation. So we just make a new attack animation and then add the code here. So here for idle, this is here you can see the player basis state machine. So we make a scriptable ability here, so you can set it here. So let's say the attack, that's how the VFX are shown. This is the delay. So for running, it has a speed, same values, but it doesn't apply because it's running animation. Use, that's for interaction. Walk, speed, attack. So we use a scriptable object in creating abilities. So you can customize it and just plug and play. So let's say here use we used this one, use player Kali for the use animation. So when the animation plays, it will do this, whatever's in here. So let's see. There. So this is the use player state. What this does is first it gets the character motor to get a reference for the animator, and on update, so it checks for interactable input. Okay, and it hides the weapon and sets the animation to this animation, and bool is interaction clicked, so false or true. There, so this one, check for interactable input, is to check if you have an interactable object in front of you. Okay, so that's use player. Let me go back to Unity and open the attack layer. Okay, for the attack, I have same thing, character motor to get references. So VFX, the float, and the delay. Okay, so on enter, when you enter the state of attacking, it gets the reference, it sets the motor's time to attack to this, and also okay, this is for showing of the VFX. Okay, this is the actual update. Okay, so you just count down on the how long the VFX will show and the time to stop. Okay, so there it sets it there and it plays the VFX here. Weapons manager, weapon VFX play. There, so all of the attack logic can go here. Oh. Okay, so we made it like this, so it's expandable. I mean, scalable. So you can just add a new character, assign a different attack player scriptable object with different values using one script, attack player script. So all of those, all of the um, skills or abilities right here. So let's say the attack is from this one's different for range attacks. So I have different logic for range attacks, different scriptable object. So for this, so here's attack player, attack player, attack player, attack player. So the plan for this game is to have seven playable characters, and that can scale, that can expand because of this system, scriptable objects. Okay. Okay, just to add to the inventory system. I failed to mention how I make the items. So it's basically scriptable objects. So let's try to open the, where is it? It's scriptable items. There you go. So here's here are samples of the items. So there. So mango. Let's see the game items. So here. Oops. So this one's a mango. Oops. Okay, mango. We assign the item here mango. So if I want to make a banana, I just put a game object here and then assign a banana. Okay, so these are consumable objects. It's still from item object base class. Okay, so there, it's scriptable object, so it's also scalable and flexible. So that's one type, consumables. We also have quest items, tools. These tools items are used to craft like this. This is a craftable item, element in the item. Okay, we also have a crafting system. So this one is a broken building, repair building data. So here, this is a quest, so similar to the puzzle system, this one's a quest system, something like that. So it has to match these building parts. These are the building parts that's already here, and these are the building parts required. So when you go here, um, construction site, there. The broken building is the broken building. This. Hold on. Oh, there. There. Let's see it in action. So it's not part of inventory system anymore, but I just want to show it. So that's how it looks like when it's not yet complete. So there, this, and when it's done, it turns into this one. So for now, it's this one. So let's see, bam, it turns into that object when it's done construction. Okay, so the system I use here is this repair item type. So it shows the list of items that you need to repair this, the required amount for each. So let's say it needs a metal, it needs 2 metals, 2 glasses, 0 water, 0 gear, and 0 fish. So that's how you set the requirements and how you can build this. Okay, so once the requirements are met, it will disable this and enable this one, and like that, and now it's a usable item. So that's one system. Okay, let's see the code for that. Where is the code? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I use dictionary to check for the repair item types entered. So every time you deliver items to the building, it updates this data, updates that dictionary. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so this is the broken building class. So it's an interactable base class. This is the repair item types required dictionary. So on interact, it will show the requirements there. So it depends on how many requirements it has. It'll show how many it needs. Okay, it will show this this repair item types. Okay, and here is the part where you deliver items to this broken building. So it adds building parts of that index with that amount, and then I call the check update to see whether the requirements met. So I update the building image display to set if it's the completed version or not. So it's just here. It enables and disables the building, and it checks if the dictionary is complete. Contents equals to it checks whether the required is equivalent to the item types entered. And when it's done, it spawns a VFX and it updates this. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it needs. It's a broken building. When you interact with it, it says, oh, you need one glass, but do I have a glass? I don't. Okay, so I don't have a glass. Let's see, do I have a glass? Oh, there, I have a glass right here. It's no, it's not a glass. Scrap glass part. So yeah, it's a glass. Let's try to pick it up and repair the building. Okay, let's go. Oh yeah, it's a glass. Let's pick up the glass. And so I have a glass. Oh, forget the UI again. Hold on. Item like this, and use. There you go. It's complete. Sorry. There. So now it's a tree capsule. Okay, oxygen mask missing. You need an oxygen mask. That's okay. That's another system. That's a different system. So I have a lot, but this video is getting long. So that's it. If you have questions, let's do it in the interview. Thanks.